Okay. Once again, inside the Philadelphia Stadium, Croatia 2-1 against Ghana. A few thoughts on the match. Obviously, we are through to the run of 32, and just a few facts to put out. We finished third in the group, which means that we'll play the first place team in Group K, which at the moment isn't really decided yet, but it won't matter, Colombia or Portugal. Um, it will be a game that will be played on Friday, 3rd July in Kansas City. Two things about that. Number one, uh, it means that we will have Thomas available. I know that the initial fear was that if we ended up in Toronto, we might not have him. So the good news is that we will have him available for this particular game. The second good news is that for the first time, we will have as many as 6 days to prepare for just one match. When we started the competition, we played our first game on the 17th, played our second game on the 23rd. We had about 5 days or so to prepare for that particular match, two of which were used for travel between Toronto and Rhode Island. Then after we played against England on the 23rd, we only had 4 days to prepare for the game against Croatia. Out of those 4 days, two of them were used for travel, and we only had one proper tactical training session before the match. So there wasn't enough preparation really between those two. And quick games in quick succession like that, sometimes it can start to be a bit heavy on the legs of the players. Obviously, also at the end of a long season, but that's not really an excuse. But I guess the point I'm building up is that the fact that we get 6 full days to prepare until the next game next Friday is a good thing. Because if we had finished first in the group, we would have had to play on Tuesday, on Wednesday, I believe, on the 1st, which would have come a little sooner. If we finished second, we would have played on Thursday, but we finished third, which means we're going to play on Friday. So a bit of a good respite to really give the team enough time to rest and prepare adequately for that particular round of 32 game. On the match itself, a really weird performance. The first half, we were lacking a bit of. Rahman is here as well to join me, but in the first half, we lacked a bit of energy. We're a bit sloppy with possession. And I guess, I don't know, maybe if it was a function of team selection, because there were a couple of changes. The centre back position, also in the midfield, the role that was given to Elisha, he didn't really do too well. He was the more advanced, or the most advanced of the midfield three. And Kamal Dean again got another opportunity in the first half. He was completely lost. And even the centre-back partners with Jonas Ojete, who had looked really good in the first two matches, didn't particularly look too promising alongside Lukasen. So I wasn't surprised at the changes that happened at the end of that first half. The second half was much, much better. Again, the first half performance, we didn't have a single shot on target. And the XG, which was 0.07, we didn't come anywhere close to scoring. As has been the case in all our 3 matches now, we haven't had a single shot on target in the first half. We didn't even take any shots in the game against Panama and England in the first half. The second half, again, much, much better. So I don't know what's going on there with our first half performances, because in knockout football, you go behind, might be a little bit too difficult to come back. But then we went behind. A really poor goal to concede, lost the ball in midfield, didn't close the spaces. A shot was taken through the legs of Lukasen, past Benjamin Asari in goal. For me, I think while it was a poor goal to concede, it was also really interesting to see how this team would react under pressure, would react going down, because we've never seen them like that. And I have to say they reacted really well. And those changes at the start of the second half told me something, that Carlos Queiroz is not afraid to make the big decisions when things aren't going too well. He's not going to wait for things to go tragically or right before he makes those bold decisions. So at the start of the second half, we saw the changes he made, and immediately Fatal started to impact the game a bit more. And there was a bit more stability between Lukasen and Pepra. But then a lot of the things that Fatah was doing in those first 10 minutes of the second half were things that Kamaldeen didn't do in the first half. And even though Kamaldeen was left on the pitch, in the second half, we saw him also get into a few more promising situations. And I'm sure he was spoken to. But the crosses, once again, the end product wasn't really there. And then he brought in Nyama, switched up. When Fatah went to the left, he wasn't as effective as he was when he was on the right hand side. Once again, I felt like maybe Nyama and Fatah should have switched positions. Nyama can tend to do well on the left hand side better than Fatah does on that end. Then we went down, of course, and then we got the equalizer. And the equalizing goal was a really well worked goal from a free kick, Nyama to Lucas in the far post. And Lentivier, I checked, probably took a bit of momentum away from the game. And we lost concentration, conceded from a set piece right after that. So a disappointing result overall. It's a game that I didn't think that we should have lost. But, I'm just looking at the silver lining here and trying to pick the positives from it. But sometimes when you win, it's really good. It's good for the psyche of the team. We didn't win. So there's a bit of disappointment among the team, but we have a few days to really prepare for that run of 32 match. Rahman, I don't know what you made of that. It's 2-1 defeat. Croatia isn't necessarily a pushover team. Rahman is so it's obviously it's not Croatia of old, but if you lose to Croatia, it's not really like the end of the world, is it?
No, I mean it's Croatia of the old. It's Croatia of the old, if I should say.
Yeah.
Luka Modric was there.
Hmm.
Um, Gavidol was there.
Yeah.
Perisic was there. Kovacic was there.
Yeah.
So that's Croatia of old.
Of course.
But generally, I just think that it's not a game I want to spend a lot of energy. I don't think this is the way Ghana want to play at the tournament. I think that the fact that we've qualified also meant that there were a lot of relaxation, a lot of changes that were happened, and I mean, in the end, this would have been my ideal situation. I might sound like a defeatist, but this was my ideal situation. I mean, for a number of reasons. I wanted to have Thomas in the team. And so,
For the next
whatever
round.
for the next round, I think we're a different beast when Thomas is there. So I will take it. I will take having Thomas than not having him playing in a weaker opposition. I think he makes us quite different. Hopefully, that makes
That makes up for all the disappointment
the
of tonight.
disappointment today. The players were a bit disappointed when
Yeah.
they came through the
Yeah.
mix zone. Again, it's something I expected. When you lose games, you don't want people to be excited. These players are athletes. They understand what losing is and all of that. So, not much to break down. I think. I mean, I need to watch it again. I want to see something, but it was quite really interesting that we made mistakes from trying to play. The first goal, if you watch it very closely, it was from our own mistake. We tried to play, and then we lost the ball in the middle. So I don't know. I'm not a technician or a technical analyst, but I'll have to watch it again. And I think the Croats actually made a point to give us the ball a bit more because they watched the
Yeah,
England
they
game.
didn't press. They didn't really
No,
press us. So we had spaces to play.
but we just didn't take
Um,
it. But again, the manager is new. He's worked
mhm.
wonders. It's quite difficult to ask for more if that
Yeah,
makes sense. But
under the circumstances.
yeah, under the circumstances. But yeah, it's a bit deflating. But it's tournament football. You need to use your head, and I think we've used our head there.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, I think the trade-off is this. Right? Ask yourself, guys, would you rather win? Maybe not win. Would you rather get a result,
Yeah.
finish second, have some confidence in the fact that you didn't lose to Croatia, go to Toronto and play either Portugal or Colombia? Or would you rather have the current situation where you lost, finish third, go to Kansas City, and still play Colombia or Portugal with Thomas?
Yeah, with Thomas. With Thomas any day. It's the travel with Kansas is not as easy. I think Toronto would have been closer to a lot of people.
They will
But
be
I just
closer,
I just I just want us to have our best teams, our strong team, and I think we're a better side with Thomas in it. If it meant we were going to play Uzbekistan or any weaker team, then maybe the scenario would have been different. But in this case, second place would still have to play either Colombia or Thomas. There's not much in it, to be
Yeah,
fair.
exactly.
It's there's not too much in it. So listen, and for travelers, if you've been to Toronto already, you want to go to another place. So maybe yeah, we'll try our last.
That might help. I have one last question for you. Did you learn anything about any other players that came in tonight that were given minutes that haven't had minutes at this World Cup. I mean, Lucasson scored a goal. I mean, the ball also squirmed through his legs for the first goal. But Sulia, but I don't really want to dwell on that. But do you think that we had a few new players coming, different formation? Lucasson being, I think, the most.
I mean, yeah,
Even Pepper as well
yeah.
played more minutes, whole 45
Yeah,
minutes.
I was really impressed with Pepra. Actually, he held his own. Mate, look at Sen again. For people who don't know, he was never going to be at this World Cup if
It
Jiku didn't
wasn't.
get
Yeah.
injured. He's coming and he's done his very best. So we will take that. Pepra again given opportunity. When he last came on, he headed the ball off the line, and so he's earned his opportunity. I would have loved to see Augustin Boache. I mean,
Yeah,
just in
me
the
too.
in
Me
the
too.
10
Me
role, just
too.
to see how it works out. Again, it's hard. I mean, Marvin is playing very well, but Alido hasn't had any minutes, and
Yeah.
he's been such a really good addition. He's quite positive and everything with it. So, yeah, we'll see. But hey, don't get too down. Honestly,
Yeah.
the most important thing is that Ghana's made it to the next round, and so yeah.
Rahman, appreciate it. Thank you
Cheers,
very
man.
much. Anyway, so guys, let me know in the comments what you made of the game. But again, as Rahman said, I don't think that we can be a bit too critical of this particular performance. We didn't win, but I think that we all know that the most essential thing, the most important thing will be that game on Friday next week. But we also saw one aspect of the team that we hadn't seen before, how they react to going down. And we saw that they reacted really, really well to going down, pulled level, except that that didn't last and they conceded again. So, round of 32, we have 6 days to build up to that. Should be a very interesting next week for all of us. Do remember to subscribe and cheers, guys.